There we go. Absolutely excellent. I'll share out my screen so you guys can see the WEBULL screen that we have up and running here. Perfect. I got DraftKings up on our screen. We can see yesterday's close at 54.61, and I'll drop that down to intraday so that we can see that. Perfect. I got my comments open. I did change one of the settings that, and it should be mentioned. I don't know if you can see it on your screen or not, but it said that I changed my comments to subscribers only. Just keep some of the spam out of there. So if you want to do the commenting, you just need to make sure that you have that subscription button enabled. So not only does that help out the channel, but it also helps keep the comments a little bit cleaner. And I hope that I don't have to do further moderation, but you never know because there's a lot of strange things that happen out there, we'll say. So speaking of strange things, happy Friday the 13th. I don't know if any of you watching are triskaidekaphobes or not, that you have a fear of the number 13. I do not. I actually kind of enjoy Friday the 13th. Just adds a little bit of spice to the day. So hopefully the market isn't superstitious, and hopefully we don't see any sort of change on that. Yesterday, moving on to the DraftKings that we have here. Greetings, Poppy. Great to have you in here. And you said, I think yesterday, that it was the evening in Japan when we were doing the live stream, and that would make sense because you're about halfway across the world from where I'm at. So what time is it there for you? So it's just after 9 a.m. here, just out of curiosity. All right, let me see. So yesterday, DraftKings had a heck of a day, and of course, it drug Golden Nugget with it. I'll come right back to DraftKings. But those of you watching usually follow this kind of stuff. So if you've been following me the whole time, then you've seen it. So Golden Nugget, of course, being acquired by DraftKings in the first quarter of 2022. And as I mentioned yesterday in the live stream, if you just take whatever price Golden Nugget's trading at and multiply it by 2.75, that tells you what DraftKings should be trading at, or gives you an approximation. Similarly, if you divide the DraftKings price by 2.75 or multiply it by 0.365, you'll get what Golden Nugget's price is about trading at. So the two prices are tied together. So let me go back to DraftKings. There we go. So we have some big things coming up for DraftKings. So first of all, we have this, which affects gambling in general. Legal sports betting in Canada starts on August the 27th. That is exactly 2 weeks from today. So the last Friday of August, that Canada starts having that legal online single sporting event betting. And this is something I think back in February, I think that there was a move to legalize. But now on August the 27th is when we finally get the opportunity for people who are in Canada in order to do that. So 10:18 p.m. Friday evening. All right. Well, hopefully you're a night owl, Poppy. I have recently been up past 10 p.m. most nights because we're adding a master bathroom. And when I say we, it's me and my wife who are doing the work for it. And I'll have to get some pictures for you guys to see what we've been working on. And pretty much after my live streams, I wrap things up and I head upstairs and start. Well, right now we're on the paint phase, but there was tearing stuff out. There's putting stuff in, and it's an old house. Nothing's level, nothing's square. It's been crazy. So getting to bed pretty late after a long day of work, and then getting right back up, and then getting ready for the market open here. That's enough of my private life here. Back to what we have. Back to what you guys came for. Good morning, Pyro, and good to have you in Tampa Bay. It felt like Florida yesterday here. It was so humid. It was so hot. It was in the 90s. So I think we're supposed to get a break in the weather sometime soon. So the other thing about DraftKings, and I think that this is something I think is absolutely huge, bringing the NFTs to the DraftKings marketplace. And it doesn't matter whether or not you like Tom Brady. I know that people have mixed feelings. For those of you who are NFL fans out there, I think it's going to be a love-hate relationship, especially from him coming from the Patriots, which were quickly despised for any number of reasons. So I'm not one to really lay on that. I just like to watch good games. So regardless of what it happens to be, but the Tom Brady NFTs came out on August 11th, priced from $12 to $100, and you can see the amount of units that they had for those NFTs. And if you're not familiar, NFTs are non-fungible tokens. So these are things that that cannot be forged, and that they are based on these quantities. These quantities, so there's exactly 5,000 of the carbon version of the Tom Brady NFTs, exactly 2,500. And these are things that cannot be forged anyway because they're tied together through the blockchain. And that can be big money. That's just from one person, and this is just the primary market. I have no clue what I just did. I must have clicked on something. This is just the primary market on for DraftKings. The secondary market would be then people who had purchased those NFTs, and then they have the digital ownership to those. We'll call them cards. Okay, just to kind of think of it, because in the early 90s is when I started collecting cards, because that was when I was a boy. I was about 8 or 9 years old when I started collecting cards, and that was around the time that they also started like overprinting. And like almost every one of the cards that I have from those 90s is nearly worthless today. Mike Piazza was my favorite baseball player back then, and then it was the predecessor to Tom Brady, Drew Bledsoe from the Patriots. He was my quarterback at the time. But moving on from there. So the NFTs are pretty cool. The secondary markets, these things are selling for even more than what they were purchased at from DraftKings. And they also mention, if we scroll down a little bit more, a signature series that's coming up for the NFTs down here. And these are on August the 13th, and these are all Eastern times. So carbon, platinum, emerald, sapphire, and ruby. And you can see that as we go down through the tier, you get more scarcity. And then also the price that goes right along with it. So DraftKings, I think, stands to capitalize in a really huge way by getting into this market and really making the ease of access, that these things can be purchased using USD, for example, that you don't necessarily have to be all tied up in crypto and go through some of the struggles and pains, since we're still somewhat in the early days of crypto, that the buying of these things is smooth, it's easy, and they're also desirable. They sell out in minutes. So you can see some people coming up. Wayne Gretzky should also be a huge one. Derek Jeter has a huge following. Tiger Woods, same thing. You know, it's going to be interesting to see where these NFTs go in the future for these different people, and to really see who's going to come out on top of that. Tony Hawk and then Naomi Osaka also mentioned in those. So if we go over to the price action that we have, you can see into the close that we held pretty much steady around that mid 50s value for DraftKings. So between the acquisition that it had, the NFT news that it had, the legalization in Canada, also I think there's 4 more states within 2021 that are set to also legalize for online gambling and online sports betting, esports, all that kind of stuff. That's also, I mean, those are catalysts that we have, and it's definitely a developing industry that we have with online sports betting. And DraftKings, in my opinion, especially with the NFT move that they have, really sets them apart from other companies that would be in that space. So if we look at the analysis that we have on that, out of 26 analysts, we have a $70 price tag. So we have another $15 to go from where we're currently at. So that upside is somewhere, let me see. So 15, it's somewhere like 20-25% upside from where it currently sits. Almost that 30% mark. So I'm going to say between 25 and 30 to get up to the average analyst estimate, anywhere from 42.50 up to 105. And we'll take a look at tip ranks. I just want to make sure we're not going over the market open here. There we go. So go to tip ranks, and we'll oops, always clicking on the wrong thing. Just a moment. There we go. Palantir, by the way, got updated price target from $20 to $25 just recently. I know that that's separate from what I was talking about, but when this loads, that's something that we'll see. We'll come back to that in just a moment. So lots of news coming out about DraftKings, lots of excitement moving on along with that. In the news, there's a DraftKings deadline alert, and there's, I think, a lawsuit going on that DraftKings underpaid or something like that for G-Nog. I don't really pay attention to a lot of the lawsuits, because a lot of them, are just ambulance chasers that chase down every dollar that they can, and it's not necessarily something that is really impactful or meaningful to the company. So there you go. It'd be different if it was like an actual legitimate fraud or something like that, but just because there's a lawsuit out doesn't really mean a whole lot, and I think we see that the price action. There you go. So DraftKings, 25% upside, almost 26% from its current trading price of $54.61. So we get a hold from Bank of America at $60. So almost a 10% upside from 3 days ago. And it looks like we have enough to actually just talk about within the last month. So Oppenheimer says 80. Craig Hallam 60, 61 for Morgan Stanley. Deutsche Bank says 51, saying it's going to giving it an actual downside for that. And I just don't see that taking place. Northland Securities, we got for 75, Trust Financial 55, 73 for Needham, 105 for Loop Capital, reiterating from whenever they put that up before. So that'd be almost doubling from where it's currently at. So DraftKings, really cool stock, and getting into the NFTs and actually popularizing the NFTs and really making it easy to access those NFTs, I think is going to be huge moving forward for DraftKings. And I think that we're going to see some really good price action over the next 12 months, bringing us up to that near $70 price target that we have. I think that that's a really comfortable price for them. And I actually wouldn't be surprised if by the end of Q3 they report their financials and we get, either reiterated or upgraded price targets from where they're currently at. All right. So we're at 9:27. We got about 3 minutes to go. And Riot Blockchain, since it's towards the top here, what I have for whatever's on my list here for the pre-market movers, up almost 4% for the day. You can see that it did close a little bit down because towards the end of the trading day, I believe the crypto market started trailing off a little bit. I think Ethereum, either it went back down close to 3,000 or dipped just under 3,000. But since then, it's moved back up to 3,200, and then Bitcoin went down around 44,000, and since then, I think it moved back up to 46,000. So we're going to continue to see those moves there. Marathon Digital just moved up over 4% in the pre-market here. Again, these are going to be tied to the crypto space, so we're going to see those moves that are just going to make headway. And I really think with crypto in general, if we go over to CoinMarketCap, there we go. So currently, let me hit the refresh button just to make sure that this is the current price that we have. You can see when I last looked at it this morning that we were at over $3,200. We're still over $3,200. And I think that we're going to solidly see that resistance of around 3,200 broken. I know that we've been over it for a little bit, and we've been over a couple times. But from where it's at now, I'd like to think of like 3,300 as like a solid break from where it's currently at. And I'll show you on the chart here the sort of formation that we have shaping up. So you can see more of its price action here. I'll zoom into this more recent time frame that we have while keeping those peaks that are over there. And I'll also zoom in so it takes up more of your screen. There we go. So this is the first time that, and the day is not closed yet, so that's something important. This could close down lower or under 3,200. We could still have just the wick sticking up above. But more and more, we keep getting more bullish pressure from underneath. Some more support from underneath. We're squeezing slowly upward on this. Even if you track the very low of these candles recently, since this most recent jump that brought us up to around 3,200, we keep giving less and less ground as the bulls and the bears come in, and they keep stopping us right around that 3,200 marker, just over it. Looked like we peaked at 3,275. So some people would say that we're solidly over 3,200. I would like to see the entire body of a candle over 3,200 to say that it's solidly broken. But I think that we have a lot of big things coming for Ethereum. I think that there's a application in for an Ethereum ETF for the that the SEC has to review. And now, mind you, I think the Bitcoin ones are going to be first. I think Ethereum ones are going to be soon to follow. But I don't think that those are a long time off. Do you foresee any drawbacks on DraftKings? Pyro Squad is asking. Ugh. All right, so woo. I'll jump back to DraftKings here. We have about 4 seconds until the market opens, so we'll keep this screen up. Well, actually, there's the bell. We'll drop down to the 5-minute chart. There we go. So as far as drawbacks on DraftKings, competition is going to be the #1 drawback for DraftKings. They're going to have to continue spending to make sure that they stay #1, and they're going to need to make sure that they have that enough revenue coming in to result in some free cash flow that allows them to continue to be nimble and to innovate throughout this expansion that we have for online sports betting. So competition, in my mind, is the biggest headwind that we have for DraftKings. The next biggest one would be popularity for online sports betting and esports, and then also the NFT market. So those are different things that should those conditions change at all, or so that should any of that popularity fade away, then that's also a headwind that we'd have for DraftKings. Something that you can do, Pyro, I don't know if you've done this before, but if you look at the SEC filings for DraftKings and you look at their quarterly reports or even their annual reports, they mention risk factors to their company. And if you read down through those risk factors, you can find out the other things that company foresees for themselves as that would be limiting to their business, or things that could potentially negatively impact the financials stability of that company. So competition, in my mind, is the absolute biggest one that we have out there. And for DraftKings, coming out on top or being near the top, I'd rather them be the leaders. So coming out on top would be the best thing. Coming out second or third would be, the next best things that would follow. I don't see them going anywhere anytime soon. I think they're going to continue to build their economic moat, and in the NFT market, I think is a really good move in their favor because I think that that's going to be a really high margin area for them. All right. So in the first 5 minutes, we see this dropping down to 53.90 for DraftKings, and we have decent buy side support coming in the low 54s, and then it looks like around a quarter of the way, so 54.23 up to 54.29. We just have a little bit of a battle going on here that's keeping us right around this current price action that we have. And if we go out to the daily chart, we can find out a little bit more. All right, clean spark. Absolutely, Marshall. I'll go and I'll take a look at that. No problem, Pyro. All right, so for DraftKings, you can see where we were at yesterday, and this could turn into a double top resist. The nice thing is the 200-day moving average that we have that was acting as resistance before is now broken, and we opened above it, so now it can act as support for us in that low 53 range. So today, if this does end up in the red, I would imagine that it's going to close somewhere near that 200-day, that it's going to close around $53 per share. So being near support, if you're one who's bullish and looking for a time to dollar cost average, usually buying near support is better than buying near resistance. So that double top resist could hold, it could sell off, but we do have a little bit of support near it. We also have these tops over here as well that can also act as support for us. It looks like we're getting resistance. We can peak out around $56 per share. And if we zoom out more, we can see some of the other price action that we have. There we go. So we can see just how strong we have for support and resistance. Let me put some horizontals on here. There we go. So let me zoom in a little bit for some of these. There's one. Let's put up another one. Zoom in a little bit more right here at 56. There we go. So rather tight from where we're at right now to get up that $56. And if we put support in there, I want to do it along the candles though, because that moving average is going to continue to move on us. So right now in short term, around $53 for that moving average. However, we zoom out a little bit more, we can use that previous line of resistance that we have here, which is still right around that 53. And then from there, let's draw just one more. Otherwise, we start to get too many lines. There we go. We'll do that for support. So taking us down into the low 50s. And then that you can see the 50 period moving average that we have here can act as support as well. And let's go with one more for resistance. So up above 56. It looks like the next time that we get some decent resistance is right around this area right here, which is in the low 60s, as a matter of fact. So we actually have a fair amount of span in here. So should we break above 54 in the meantime, we have room up to 56. And after 56, we got about a 10%-ish area, a little over that, where we can actually jump up before we hit the next resistances that we have according to the high prices that we see. So other bullish signs that we have for DraftKings is that our lows are climbing. You can see that our highs so far right now are actually tapered just a little bit, but we'll see on this next climb. If we break this previous high that we have back here at around, I'll give you the exact previous high. It was 55.61. So if we break up over 55.61 into the 56s, then we have a decent amount of room to run for that. Like I said, up into the low 60s. Lots of sell side pressure coming in for the day at the moment, right around that $54 mark. All right. Watching SPR rip this morning. Yeah, I'll check that out. No problem, Marshall. Let's go to CLSK. All right. Just to let you know, I just want your opinion on CLSK. Okay. So for CleanSpark, this is one that I don't really follow. I know that it's a smaller company, and I know that I talk a lot about price action and everything. The fact that it's sold off the way that it is, and looking at the price that we have here, and that the volume, let's move that off the screen for a moment. The volume isn't like it was with some of these other times that we saw with this huge ramp up that we saw up over $42 per share, which is probably middle of February. Let me see. Looks like I lost my cursor. I'll have to bring that back so I can actually see the dates that we're on. But we have that bearish trend taking place. So CleanSpark as a company, it looks like right now people are looking for that next thing, the next news piece that's going to cause this to move upward. I think it's too small. No, it does. I have 2 analysts covering it, and it says that it's way down. Let's see how recent they are. All right, so we have less than a 1-star analyst from BTIG coming in on this on 45. And then a 5-star analyst coming in on this one from 3 months ago. And they're saying that this thing could more than triple, but it is 3 months ago. So what we want is, and you can see they're not reporting any sort of analyst rating. We need some updates on these prices, given the most recent price action that we have. CleanSpark could still most definitely have promise to it. And I will tell you this, even though it's not one that I follow, with this selling off the way that it did and the fact that it's near support like it is, if you're looking for an opportunity to get into a stock before most people realize what's taking place with it. Now, mind you, nothing could be taking place. As a matter of fact, the company could be really struggling and this could die off. So I want to put that out there for risks right off the bat. I just don't know. And I don't think anybody really knows, or we'd see better price action or we'd see worse price action if we actually knew the answer to that. I can tell you that people are uncertain about its future, and people are also worried about some of these other prices that it had. So if you want to get in early on a stock, and you can see that this has started leveling off, it looks like it leveled off. And again, I kind of lost, I think I see what the problem is. 1 second here. Maybe not. I got my cursor back. Perfect. It was because I had a drawing tool on. I didn't even notice. All right, so around the mid-12s for this thing. So if that 3x opportunity is out there for CleanSpark, and people who would get on this early would be that they have a vision of the company that nobody else sees yet. As soon as people do start waking up and realize the potential in a company, that's when the price really starts moving, and we usually end up missing the boat. So finding a stock when it's boring and if it's been beaten down, those would be the times that you would want to find that stock in order to find those big gains. So if you really think that you're onto something with CleanSpark, and if you really think that they have forward potential moving from here, and that there's strong fundamental value that people aren't realizing, then you have yourself an opportunity. I don't follow CleanSpark. I just don't know that much about it. I wish I could give my opinion better and more reasonably on it. I can tell you that it hasn't really moved with the rest of renewable energy and like the EV space and the green space and the other growth stocks and stuff where they rallied. So right back here is May 13th when you started to see that rally happening. This thing died off by the time we hit middle of June. So it lasted for a month, whereas others lasted for like 2 months. So finding that reason why it died off and seeing if it does have some sort of catalyst coming up in the future that's going to move it in a positive direction, you know, that's something to really, if you like this company, it's something to spend some time with and see if you have something, something promising coming up. But with the 3x upside from where it currently sits, but mind you, those are really old estimates. It'd be nice to see some new ones that could tell us a whole lot more. Short interest looks like it has spiked. So it could be something that part of the explanation could be that there's a lot of short sellers on it, that it is being pushed down in the meantime. So it could be something that we could see it jump up. So closes, purchase of former, okay. CleanSpark, new facilities, mining operations expect to operate 100%. Net carbon neutral, perfect. Second data center. So they're doing a lot of buying. So this could be one of those build-up times for the company when they're spending a lot of money to really push forward. And during that growth and innovation time where they're really trying to establish themselves, there can be a lot of doubt. And, their cash burn rate could be another one of those things. I don't know what it is, but just a few things to consider. There you go. MTB Thrill Seeker says that they've been holding clean spark. We consider SoFi a strong buy if it dips below 15. I'm considering open new position in this stock. All right. So, Marshall, I hope that I said something useful for you for CLSK. Like I said, I wish I knew more about them. As a matter of fact, should we get some new? I don't know. It's one that if I get some time, I would certainly read into to see, what was the dream that we had that caused all this hype and this build up before that's gotten forgotten about and all those hurt feelings and stuff from the sell off. And, why does it keep trailing off? Maybe there's a simple answer. Maybe it's a little bit more complex. I don't know. Let's check out SoFi. There we go. All right. Yeah, DraftKings, I like, honestly, between the two of them, I like DraftKings more, but I also know more about DraftKings. SoFi, I have a small position in, and it's actually, oh man, it's down near 15. So look at the support that we have for SoFi around these levels here. Let's put it up here a little bit, where some of these, that's 1504, and let's move down to the bottommost of this candle, which is 1414. So between $14 and $15. If we drop below 14, that's a lot of room to run. Where's this low point here? I missed it. Zoom in a little bit more. We can follow it down to, so it looks like it's almost in dollar increments. But I know that for SoFi, their earnings did not impress this first time, but I think that the next time around, if we see those growth numbers, that can really turn things around for them. So this gap down comes from some of that disappointment. So for me, I absolutely wanted a small position in this because I don't know enough about it yet to really put more out there for it. But I think that it's one that has some potential to it. So for me, under 15 is a great area. And right now we're trading at like almost 15 even. It keeps jumping between 1501 and 1502. Let's look intraday on it. All right, so hey, there we go. Within this past 5 minutes, we got a low of $15 even. So that could be a round number support. It could bounce off 15 a little bit. If it breaks 15, we saw that it has room down to the low 14s. That would be, so from here, a 66% fall, not 66, 6.6% fall from down where it's at. Decimals and me are always arguing. I always have to go back through and make the adjustment. So losing another dollar from now is something that could totally happen. But look at the squeeze we have in level 2, the battle that's being fought over that $15 mark. When you see those lines pinch in on each other, that they make that really sharp V shape, there's a lot of support and resistance, or a lot of buy and sell side pressure, where orders keep on getting filled right in between, right around that wherever that apex is, or whatever that vertex is for that V shape that we have. And it looks like it settled a little bit now. We have a lot of buy side support coming in around the, let me see, 1460. It really starts to spike up, and it looks like now up at 1525 is when we really start to peak out for some of the sell side pressure. So there we broke 15, went down to 1493. This could stay in the like mid to high 14s. It really depends. But for me, under 15 is where I look for opportunity for SoFi. But you always got to keep that risk in mind. And there is that debate, are they done growing? Did the expansion already happen before they went public via SPAC? Or is it something that is yet to come for them as a fintech company that they plan to really capitalize and grow from here? And really, whatever camp you fall into determines where you do or do not place your investment. So we are trading. If this would drop below the mid 14s, for me, and I can only speak for myself, I can't speak for anybody else. I'm absolutely 100% not authorized to do so. But for me, if this dropped in the mid 14s or even down to the low 14s, I might even consider making a shorter term swing trade on it rather than a long-term investment. And the nice thing there, being a shorter term one, is that I risk less because I have a cutoff that is half of whatever reward I expect from it. So if this went down down to $14 and I expected it to go back up to 15, for example, that means I would give it room down to $13.50. So I'd be risking 50 cents per share, but I'd be looking for $1 per share to come out of it. And so just some idea versus a longer term investment, keeping this based on its fundamentals rather than on its technicals. That would be one with the position that I currently have. Is I put a little bit out there because I think that there could be some good things in its future. I'm just not as well read as I should be in order to take a longer position on site or a bigger position on SoFi. All right, let's see what else we got. So let's move this over. Take a look at the change that we have. I also want to see how the markets are doing. Cardano is having a great day. There we go. Their token is ADA, and they're dancing right around that 50 period that we have for the moving average. So that's on the 30 minute. Let's go out to the daily chart. There's not going to be a lot on WEBULL because they just started tracking Cardano not too long ago. You can see just a little bit that they have, enough to see that double bottom that they had where we hit support right around $1. And since then, it has doubled from its lows. And my position on this, I think I am about 60% up on Cardano. I definitely didn't get it in super early, but when I saw it drop down to near $1 is when I started making a little bit of my purchases in order to just have a small position in there because I thought that it was something that could bounce off support, and it's worked out pretty well so far. Not all of it was near $1. Otherwise, I'd be at 2x. I'd be 100% up, but a lot of it was, and that's why I'm 60% up from where it's at. And for them, smart contracts are on the horizon. I think that they may, and I don't want to put this out there as official information because I didn't fact check it, but I think that they may have pushed up their timeline. And something that's been kind of a headwind for them price-wise is delays, which happen a lot anytime when you're dealing with technology, but certainly in the crypto space when we roll out those new improvements and stuff. But Cardano wants to make sure that they get it right the first time. And so sometimes if they go into testing or if the research doesn't pan out the way that it should, and they feel like they need to hold off a little bit longer to make sure that it's smooth and that it functions well and it's that it's in their best interest, it's something that they're going to do. So this is one, I mentioned this before, that I really do like Cardano. I don't like it as much as I like Ethereum, but I still really do think that they have a good thing going. I think that they're going to be one of the top cryptos that they're going to quickly climb up by market cap over time. And I think that they have room, according to Ethereum's price that's out there, they could go up to $10. That'd be 5x from where they're currently at. I think it'll take some time for that to build out, but the potential is certainly there. So here we have the chart for Ethereum, and you can see the climb that it's had. And we just have, based off that little dip that we have there and a little bit more of a run. So that's a perfect little flag formation that we have. And now we're getting more into another flag or even a pennant, depending on how you want to look at it. We'll see more as that fills out over time. It looks like I need to draw some more lines on here because the last thing I did was draw the next area of resistance. And well, we've broken that. So if we zoom out from there, our next resistance is actually forming up right now around 32 or mid 32s. We need to push on to those break 3,300. So I think that'll be the next key area that we break. So here I'll put on another horizontal line on there for you. There we go. Got it. So breaking over that line. And like I said, we want the full body of a candle to be over that line. And this is the daily chart that we're looking at here. So one full day above that line that I've just drawn, that's around that 3250, 3300. If we have a full candle that trades above that, we can consider it resistance fully broken. Then it turns into a line of support for us. And check out how much room we have. So if we go up over 3,300, we have $1,000 worth of room to get up to that peak that we had before of 4,300. Honestly, I don't care how long it takes to get there, reasonably speaking. So if it takes a few months to get there, I wouldn't be surprised. I think 4,700 is one of those numbers that's been tossed out for end of 2021. Why not? Even if it does, I don't want a straight up climb because while you saw we had the straight up climb and we had the rip right back down, we want to see it more take its time in its development and have this little bit of volatility. Alternatively, if it doesn't do that, we want to see it trade sideways and give us something to expect, at least as long as around a base of support anyhow. That would just be much better information. Speaking of support, we have support about $400 down from where it's currently at. So what's that, 10%, 11% ish down from where it's currently at, a little bit more, in order to get down to the support area. All right, I just want to make sure that I'm keeping up with the comments here. Like I said, I did make the change. If you want your comments to be shown, you got to be a subscriber, and that just keeps out some of the junk that you know, some people might stop in. I haven't had a whole lot of spam in the comments, but I've had a little bit of it, and I'd just rather not have it. So just a few things to keep in mind. Let's stop out of Bitcoin. Solidly over 46,000. And you can see a very similar top to what we have for Ethereum. I don't have any lines drawn on here. There you go. So right here, right across the top, there's that horizontal line, and we'll toss a few more that are up there. We know about this one down here around the bottom. And then we have a few others. So we have these tops right around here. Really good, well, support, we'll call that, right around that $40,000 mark. If we come back down and tag 40,000, and then I think we get a good bounce off 40,000 if it does come back that way. It's going to mess with people's heads in the meantime, because they're like, oh man, a 10% drop, but for crypto, a 10% drop isn't out of the question. It's something that you don't like to see, but with the volatility can happen. It might take a few days to happen. But I think it would be a healthy little temporary correction before it starts its climb back up and before it pushes onto like that $50,000 mark. And by the way, looking off these lows that we have over here, so we have that top along with this low, and with that low, when you have the floor and the ceiling kind of meeting each other, it forms a really solid line. In this case, a line of resistance. If we break over it, it can form a really solid line of support. So watching that take place, and then we have a little bit of room from there up, I'm going to say 50,000 will be that next line that we have that's significant. And with that round number resist in this case, I think crossing over it will also be the next important milestone that we have. So Tesla. Taco's excited about Tesla. Heck yeah, 728 per share. Wow, check it out. So I had that bullish wedge drawn in, and then we broke to the upside, and then I had that bullish pennant drawn in there. And I said, you know, in a few days, this could narrow, and then we could see a breakout in either direction, probably to the bullish side. And, well, at least for now, I was right. So I hope that holds. Mind you, technical analysis, I mean, a lot of people do trade on technicals, and algorithmic traders at just the computers that run it and trade on the algorithms that they're programmed with. Those are also going to make it make sense in that way. So if you trade like the majority trades, then you can be right with the majority a lot of times. Now, mind you, news about the company can always be something that changes and makes the technicals fail. Macroeconomics in general can make them fail. Black swan events can make the technicals fail. So it won't always work, but when you give yourself as many advantages as possible and set yourself up statistically to win more often than you lose, then you can start making money in this game. Right now, we are peaking out close to that 730 mark. We almost hit it. We dropped 10 cents shy of it so far today. Let's look at level 2. Level 2, we got a lot of selling pressure on 727. There we go. Wow, look at that price wall. I can't even keep up with it here. I'll look it down in here. 727.80 is where we have a lot of sell side pressure coming in. We'll see if we have enough support from underneath in order to keep that price propped up. Let's look intraday. Look at the faster movement. There we go. Wow, yeah, look at that line of support that we have at 721. And even that little sell-off that we had a little wick come down here before coming back up to the close, and engulfing candles, sort of barcoding at first. And then finally, we break solidly over that 50 period. In this case, it's 55-minute periods. 5 minutes, 50 periods of it. There we go. And looks like we're pushing on. We might just break that 730 on this next candle. We have a lot of buy-side support coming in. And we'll see if the bears keep on smacking that price down in the meantime. Let me see. 12 minutes ago, Giga Berlin, Brandenburg County Fair and Factory Tour on the 9th of October. Awesome. Elon Musk says delayed Gigafactory should open in October. Perfect. So there's our catalyst. So So the Berlin Gigafactory is one of the big ones set to open. And now, mind you, that's something that, because it hasn't opened yet, that's something that's been weighing on their financials. But once it is opened, that's something that should start supporting their financials, especially as they ramp up to scale. And I believe Texas, is that the Tesla Semi? I'm gonna have to go back and check out my notes on that one. But they have another factory for production in Texas, and they're still building the machines that build the machines. And that, as they continue their expansion, they still are a growth company. And they, even though they trade at a super high multiple, they also have a super big following. And I still think that they're the leaders when it comes to the push for autonomous driving. And yeah, so that Gigafactory opening up in Berlin should be very good for them in the near future here. And this might need to rest a little bit to break 730, but it can absolutely break 730. Remember on the daily chart that we are trading near resistance already, and it's called resistance for a reason. So if we zoom in to the top of this, so we did get a breakout, and now let's talk about how high could break out according to what we see here for this formation. So this was down at 653, the flagpole, the bottom of it, and the top of it came up to, I have to move that over a little bit, up to 726. So that would be $70 from where it was at. Wow. And let me check some of the other things first before I say that. So sometimes when you have those flag formations, the height of the flagpole can be the height of the breakout. It doesn't necessarily tell you what direction, but that's one of the things that can happen when you have those sort of technical indicators. Now that would take us up into the 770s, and we need to break resistance in order for that to happen. Where does this put us at over here? Wow, that actually puts us into the 770s by what we have on the chart. Let me keep looking left. Wow, we actually do have room, and it doesn't mean it's going to take a single day in order for that breakout to happen. If the market goes along with it, and if good things keep on going for Tesla, if nothing really changes, we could see a few positive trading days that would actually, possibly put us up there, and that would be incredible to watch it go. Another 7% or so up from where it currently sits over the next few days, 2-3 days. And right now, today, it's up almost 3%. So we'll watch and we'll see if that does play out. I think over time they will. I think by the end of 2021, we'll be significantly up from where we are now. We might even come back and retest some of these highs that we saw before between the $800 and $900 range. So we just need to keep watching that, keep watching for news on EV growth in the industry, keep on watching their deliveries, how well they navigate the chip shortage, see how well they do in Berlin as we get numbers coming out of there. It should be pretty incredible to watch. And now, mind you, we won't see those Berlin numbers. We might see little pieces of it leading up to their Q4 results for 2021, or even their annual results for the entire year of 2021. So we'll watch that. So thank you, Taco, for bringing that out. Oh yeah, Tesla AI Day is on the 19th, so that's a week from yesterday. So next Thursday. Thank you for that reminder as well for the Tesla AI Day. Now, for this price, and it being around 727, remember that this is called resistance for a reason. And if we resist today, if we close near this, that's good because that can help us out for breaking that resistance tomorrow. So people seeing it trade near resistance can also cause them to sell, which adds to additional selling pressure. If it was a swing trade based on this formation that we saw that they bought in down here and sold up there, or even if they bought down here for this initial area and then didn't sell as soon as that popped up, but waiting for that next run to take place. So we could get that selling pressure that holds it in place for now, and then tomorrow being a new day, get another jump coming out of that. It could also be that the formation fails and we don't get that same breakout. That's the height of this flagpole here, but it's totally possible. As far as Tesla AI Day, buying the rumor, being that we're within a week of it, now would be that time that you would start to see that sort of excitement. We should hear good updates for how Tesla's doing with its autonomous driving and its development. And the one article that I was reading, which I actually think that I put up on the live stream, is about how Elon Musk uses that time to recruit top developers in IT in order to get them on their team at Tesla. So we absolutely want the best in the world to be working for Tesla in order to push them forward. I think that would really help them out. All right. let's see what else we got here. Boom, boom, boom. There's our friend ALPP. We'll go from big company to small company. There we go. And I think that this one is really relevant right now when we look at this one. So the chart actually looks a lot like what we saw for CleanSpark, but for CleanSpark, I didn't really know as much. ALPP is still very early. It's done a lot of acquisitions. It got pretty hurt by losing some of its customers that it had in education, like some of the universities that it had contracts for. Those contracts weren't being renewed. So that's something that's limiting to them and damaging to them. But they are getting more contracts. It's a little bit slow at first. We're still waiting on news from the NASDAQ uplisting, which in my mind is the next big catalyst that we have. And that can, watching us find the support that we have around the mid twos. Right now, I'd say a lot of the risk has come out of the price. Certainly a lot of the risk has come out since it's been up around $9 per share when it peaked up there. And we did see it for a small time go up to, this is $5.49 before trailing off again. And we don't have, besides the moving averages, and besides this peak that we see back here that's close to $4, just under $3.86, we don't have a lot of stuff keeping this from moving. And when you have small companies like this and you have big news coming out, especially like a NASDAQ uplisting, and get some options slapped on this and everything, that could be something that could really be big for the buy side pressure and people wanting to move in on it. So just something to keep in mind. Still a high risk company. And so it's one that I haven't bought a ton of. I have a small position in them, but I am bullish on them. But it does come with a big risk on it. So if it's one that you choose to invest in based on the research and due diligence that you've done, and just invest carefully. And it's certainly not one that I would risk my family's future over. Maybe a trip to the ice cream shop I would risk, but certainly not more than that. Let me see what else you got here. Pulling back, I'm still down on Tesla. I got at the top and have been averaging down, so a long-term hold for me. Yeah, getting in at that top for Tesla when it came up around the $900 mark. I think that we'll see those come around again. With the next few years, I think that value is going to be realized, and I think that the dollar cost averaging throughout is really going to help out. For me, Tesla's one that I couldn't pull the trigger on it for the longest time. My father, years ago, I want to say it was 2013 or 2014, he says, hey, Tesla, check them out. And I think that that's the year to have to go back and look and see when they joined the public markets. But it was a pretty long time ago, and they were relatively cheap. But they still traded at sort of a high multiple. And there was a lot of bear reports on it. And I didn't really look too much at the fundamentals of the company at the time. And my dad made out significantly. Now, mind you, my dad is not a finance guy, but he does like to watch the markets. And sometimes when he finds things, he really finds things and they take off. Most recently, his pick was Nokia. It was after I had talked about it, and I talked about it independently of him. He did not listen to what I had to say about Nokia. He just happened to really like everything that he was reading about it. So he took a position on it around $4 per share. And last I knew, it was around $6. We'll have to take a look at that one as well. But yeah, so moving on, I see Fisker mentioned. There we go. I think I just pressed like 6 keys for a 3-letter ticker. My fingers fumbled all over that thing. So Tesla's up, but Fisker's down. Fisker is, oh boy, they're under 15. I keep meaning to take a position in Fisker, just a small one. They are pre-production. There's going to be risk to it, and they do have a lot of competition coming up, and it's only going to be more competition by the time they actually get the Fisker Ocean put out there. I don't know if it sounded like I said potion, but I misspoke. The Fisker Ocean, end of 2022 is when they expect to hit production. We don't know a lot about demand yet, only getting those high quality cars out from an experienced car maker. And they're not looking to build their own machines. They're looking to enlist companies to help them make the machines. But trading around in support now, maybe today's that day when I finally take a position on Fisker. I want to see what news we have. Now, mind you, we also have to look at some of the other ones. I know that some of the Chinese EVs were down today. I see Lucid over here. Lucid's actually up 0.5%. False breakout for Fisker 7 minutes ago. And then what else? Investor plays. Fisker has the best bull case of the pre-revenue EV companies. I'd have to read that. Investor Place, not my favorite place to go. However, sometimes they do have some pretty relevant things to say. Fisker announces upsize pricing, $625 million. Okay, convertible notes offering. All right, so this is definitely something that's indicative of a growth company, and one that, and especially an auto company, which takes a huge amount of overhead and usually has a lower margin when it comes to profits. It just takes a lot of money to make the vehicles, and so doing that convertible notes offering like they have, that could explain a lot of the drop that we see between yesterday and today. Typically, when you have that sort of offering, you get a bounce after like an oversold sort of position. Now, according to the RSI, we are not in oversold territory. But I do want to read about that. We actually have some really decent volume coming out for Fisker. And then that offering that they had, they not only did they just jump up above the moving averages, they stayed there for 2 days. Really battle tested between bulls and bears. And the Bears managed to just smack it down with that big old paw and right back down below the moving averages. However, they failed to break support at around the mid-14s. Now, if we zoom out more just to see where we're at, look, oh my gosh, look at that support we have. I don't know why I don't have a horizontal line drawn there. Look over here at how much we barcoded right along that mid-14s. We have really solid support at this price. It doesn't mean it won't drop below. It could most definitely keep on falling, but it's not a surprise that it stopped here. I'm glad that I looked left. So looking left gives us a little bit more of an explanation of how far this thing could fall. Right now, it didn't fall. I don't think it's going to fall much more. I think that this support is really super strong. And I think that, honestly, today might be that day that I make that purchase. Let me see what else we have. If we fall below that, then we have a fair way to fall. So then we start seeing the risk come in. So we have this little low point right here, which has a decent amount of support that's over there as well. And then below that, I mean, we can drop down as low as just under $10, and there's a little bit more room. So we actually have pretty wide areas here, but we are sitting on probably one of the strongest support areas that we have. The only thing that would make it even better, in my opinion, is if it was actually sitting on a moving average rather than below the moving averages. So this could be one that if that low holds, it's still higher than that low. And if we bounce off of that, our next run that we make, we want to be able to overtake that previous high that we had that took us into the 20s. We're just going to see volatility in the pre-production times. We're going to live and die on the news and the momentum that comes along with Fisker. And that's just the truth of it. And right now, that news with a capital raise, that brings up cash burn concerns, and it also brings up share dilution concerns, and it devalues people's shares. And so, it makes it harder to reach those other prices that we saw in the past, because the valuation of the company would go up more by hitting those same prices per share. All right, Friday the 13th, everything on sale. I thought that Friday the 13th was supposed to be a bad day, according to our Triskaidekaphobes out there. It could end up turning out to be a pretty good day for those of us out there. Let me see. So this is my WEBULL account, and this is a smaller account. The money that I have in here is money that I have from people who have used my referral code that's down below, and the free shares and everything. I think I got like $200 sitting in here. Let me see. Yeah, let's tag 10 shares for the day. There you go. All right, we'll see if that goes through for us. So just 10 shares, and I think that at this price, I think that I'm going to be in the green, probably, well, given the right market bias. If the market goes well and EV goes well on Monday, I'll be in the green as soon as Monday. That's assuming that support holds. But there you can see my position up there on the screen for you. I have 10 shares at $14.57. All right. Let's see what other sales we have while we're waiting, even though I just spent my money on Fisker. But I've been waiting for Fisker. SoFi down 14%. So they're still down under 15. Excellent. Like I said, I already have a position with them. There you go. Honest Company I think that's who that is. Yeah, Honest Company. Wow, they've dropped. Whoo, look at that gap down. And if we look left, this looks like they IPO'd back in the 5th of May, and they gapped down big time. Wow, okay. News. DJ, Honest Company stock is tanking because people have stopped stocking up, according to Barron's. Honest Company dives after missing Q2 estimates, lowered digital revenue. Yeah. So I don't know if this is a buying opportunity, because just because the stock falls doesn't mean that it's worth buying. I know nothing about this company. But when you see that gap down like that, when it puts in a brand new low, sometimes you get a pretty decent bounce off of it, making for a swing trade opportunity, but you would want other confirmation for what exactly is going to take place. So it could be an oversold case. We have a huge price wall, which just got melted away. Lots of orders, 1024, 1028, 1031, 1040, and buy side pressure. We have lots of orders at 1009. So it looks like $10, like thinking that, having that round number support at the $10 per share could be a significant place to bounce off of. We're in unmarked territory for this one. We don't have anything else according to the daily chart to go off of for where Honest Company is going to find support or resistance. There we go. Yeah, wow. So even if you look at the 30-minute chart, or let's even go up to the hourly chart where we see some of those after hours and pre-market hours. Yep, completely 100% absolutely unmarked territory. So this is a falling knife, in that, there's a lot of things to be said about not trying to catch a falling knife. In order to take a position on this one, would want more confirmation than just a round number support at $10 in order to do it. So people who have that information, I wish them luck. This could take a significant bounce and could catch them quite a few percent, maybe coming back 5 to 10% within the day, or even the next trading day. So on Monday. So that'd be interesting to watch. Fubo, they just got a new price target, I believe, of $35 per share. Let me see. Fubo entered into a sales agreement under which company may sell shares of its common stock up to 500 million. Okay. So it can sell that much. It doesn't mean that they will sell that much. We'll see. Barrington adjust price target to 37 from 30. And I thought I saw another one. Let's go over to tip ranks for Fubo. All right. So at this point in time, it's 10:13. I normally aim to end at 10 o'clock. And as always, I've gone over. So anything after this is bonus. So hope that you guys enjoy. 10:13 on Friday the 13th. Oh, boy. So average analyst estimate right now, 50% upside on Fubo. Yesterday, there's the Barrington one for 37. So I was wrong about 35. It's actually more than that. It's 37. Wedbush 3 days ago, 53. BMO Capital, 30. Roth Capital, 45. Needham coming in at 60. Evercore, $40. And Oppenheimer coming in at $42. And then the other ones are 7 months ago. And so Lightshed Partners, 7 months ago. So they have 5 months to be right at $6.50. I wish them luck. I just don't know that that'll happen for Fubo anytime soon. So yeah, we got a low of 30. So we're actually below the average analyst estimate that we have on Fubo. So this is one that could be trading at a discount. It looks like we actually have a lot of red in a lot of places on this one. NNDM is under $6 per share. That is interesting. Be patient with Nano Dimension as it waits for the pandemic to pass. That's something that we've been patient. And for me, I have a bullish position on it. I will continue to be patient. The intriguing thing about being under $6 per share is that their cash position alone puts them at I don't know, I think it was 563 or something, according to the $1.3 billion in cash that they were holding at the time. And I don't think that they've changed their cash position since that time. So this is a really interesting day for Nano Dimension. I think a lot of the risk has come out of this. Let's look at the daily chart. Brooks says, happy Friday the 13th, Doc Henley. Are you looking at buying anything that is down hard from earnings besides Fisker? I mean, really looking at this, there's so much in so many places. It might just be a day to add a little bit to across other positions that we have. So Nano Dimension, I wanted to zoom in on this one. Hello, Luis. I'll check out Romeo Power in just a moment here. So 539, it looks like is our low price, and now we're rocking about $6. And you can see that since its run up, that this is about where we're finding support right now. Max selling pressure actually put us in a place where their stock was trading below where the company actually had the money to back up. And so now trading at $6, there's a reason why we keep bouncing off of that. That there is some fundamental value that also helps the price of the company in the meantime. And Yoav Stern did say that they're waiting for the pandemic to pass before they move into their full-scale marketing and start filling out their revenues and expanding their customer base, and also thereby expanding the services that they have and also the proprietary inks that they have for the Dragonfly system. This is an interesting day. We're starting to see that consolidation for NNDM, and so it's a matter of looking for those next catalysts that are coming up for them. So yeah, interesting day. Workhorse down. Let's go to, we'll bring up NEO. They'll bring up XFung, ChargePoint. There you go. NEO back in the low 40s. We're actually on a really nice linear progression. There we go. So from this low that we have back here until this low that we have over here. The fact that our lows keep on climbing is a very bullish sign that we have for NEO. I think that they're going to do well over time. I think that they're going to build out nicely with their business. And I think people have mixed feelings over coming out with the lower cost vehicles. I think they said around 31,000 USD, and versus the luxury market that they have a foothold on right now. And that could be something that delays their move to profitability, sets that further down the road, and so that could be something that drops their stock price in the short term for this. And so we'll see as the price targets come out if that's something that the analysts think is going to mitigate their stock price over the next 12 months, or if it's something that they think is going to help them out in the meantime. We might get some reiterations on it. So yeah, NEO, what are they down today? They're down almost 3%. There you go. Visit our friend XPeng. Very similar looking chart. Look how nicely it's dancing along the 200-day. It even held at the 50-day for a little bit, but now it's on the 200-day. If it breaks below this, then we have a fair amount of room down to, let me zoom out. There we go. Looks like the high 30s down to the mid 30s after that. So if we break down below like $38 per share, and I'm not exactly sure what happened to my cursor again, $38 per share down, and then after that down to about $34 per share. So it could stand to drop, but it is holding on to that 200-day nicely, and we'll see if we get a good bounce off of this. But like I said, it looks like there's a whole bunch that's down. There we go. I just want to take a quick look. So it looks like the S&P is up almost even. Dow's even. NASDAQ about 0.18, so not too far from even there. So maybe the Russell is the one that we're seeing a lot of these from, because a lot of these are growth companies, because the ones that people have asked about. And these are the fast movers. So if they're fast moving up, they're also fast moving down. And they do tend to move together. Microvision back down around 14. Ooh, my goodness. Digital Turbine. What do I see there? 56. Ooh, I just added it to my position yesterday. I posted it in my Discord that I put on a few more shares of Digital Turbine, and seeing it come down. Where's that low price that we have on this? The low price, 54.45, almost that low we had a 53.02. We broke the 200 period significantly. So that support has been broken. And so now that climb back up will be resistance. But at 56, oh, that's tempting. I might have to add a little more. So Brooke, to answer your question, this is definitely one that I'm looking at, especially under $60. This far under $60, definitely think about adding just a little bit more to my position to help fill that out. By the way, anytime that I do buy or sell something, with the exception of Fisker that I just purchased on here because I'm not coordinated enough to go jump into my Discord, but I will put that up there that I did buy my shares of Fisker. I think I bought 10 shares of them at $14.57. Right now it's $14.52, so it's an even better deal. Actually, I'll go ahead and put that over there now so that way it's not missed. There we go. Charge point down to 24, not bad. NCLH down to 25, also not bad. What else do we have here? GNOG at 1924, so DraftKings must be doing all right. BNGO, where'd you go? 579. It's actually been holding pretty steady. Let's go to the chart on that one. All right, so this looks a lot like what we saw with NNDM, that we have that fairly strong support coming. We're riding pretty well along the 200-day, and just only looks like today firmly dropped beneath it. That we're still sitting on that horizontal support that we have in the high fives. Hopefully, we can break back up over that moving average that we have, and I think that we start to get into more attractive pricing on BNGO around the $5 mark. Should this drop under 5, I think it starts to get really, really super attractive where I'd actually take and increase my position. I am profitable. I'm in the green on BNGO, and I took another long-term position after I sold off my other position. There we go. Again, another one that I'm bullish on. It is one of those higher risk ones because they are pre-profit. But I do think that they're going to continue to innovate and make a name for themselves over time, especially if they move into diagnosis and treatment and just out of the clinical stages that they're at right now, and they put out more of their Sapphire system to be in good shape. All right. There we go. So bought 10 shares of so something that I do on my Discord is that whenever I buy or sell something, and I didn't used to do this, but from feedback that I got from my patrons in the Discord, I used to just say that I bought it and I didn't put up the confirmation, and I wasn't thinking about the trust side of it, that people want to see that I actually did make the purchases. So what I've started doing since then is that anytime that I buy or I sell something, I make sure that I also include the order confirmation so that people can see that it's not just a Google spreadsheet that's unbacked by anything. But I do put out those so that you can see those taking place and everything. There we go. All right. So let me see. Ride is understanding. Oh, I'm sorry, Luis. You got to get Romeo Power here. All right. So I'm going to be wrapping things up in the next few minutes. I will forever type ROM instead of RMO for Romeo Power. Yep. Still consolidating. You can see that line that I drew in there for you, Luis. I think that you were going to ask about this before. They did have a decent open today, but then they pulled back to about where it's been barcoding recently, where we get that sort of consolidation. So as I said before, we want to look to see what is that thing coming up in their future that's going to be that accumulation event where we start to get large amounts of buying, especially institutional buying that's really going to back for Romeo Power. So we actually have a lot of institutions that look like who have some small parts. Let's go to percent owned. It won't sort of, okay, it is sort of, Vanguard has a 5% institutional ownership in this as of June 30th. So seeing those increase over time, if we see these institutions take on more and more of a position within Romeo Power, those could be very bullish signs for it moving forward. It is good to see all the institutions that are currently in it. It looks like we have 12 institutions that increased their positions, 21 new, and let me see, 7 decreased and 14 sold out. There we go. So an increase of 3.1 million, 3 million new, a decrease of 767,000 shares and 430 sold out. You know, this could be something that maybe some of that accumulation is already happening and we haven't seen it translate to the price action yet. The RSI is building. However, it's still in bearish territory. It's still going along with this trend. breaking up over that 50-day and closing a full body candle up above the 50-day would be a really good sign for it. All right, let me see. When is the bull going to end? Thoughts on XRP? I don't do a lot of track on XRP. I know that XRP is one that's pretty closely followed by a lot of people. That there's a sort of a really passionate following for XRP, and I think that it's probably not going to go anywhere anytime soon. And the bull going to end. If we're talking crypto for when the bull run's going to, I think the bull run's just like the next one is just beginning, and I think it'll end after it takes us up to some pretty significant new highs where Bitcoin and Ethereum are concerned. All right, let's close it up with PLTR today. There we are. All right. Cardano, by the way, still have 20%. Polygon up another 11%. All right. So what do we got for Palantir? So yesterday I was talking about Palantir, and I said I would be surprised if it hit 26. It didn't. It fell short of it. So that's a pretty significant resistance for us right now, trading in between them for a little bit, especially after such a strong gap upward from where we were at the day before. So we were under the moving averages to above the moving averages. Nice and bullish. Excellent volume spike on there. So that's a really good confirmation in those that price is warranted. And I think that we'll hang out here with support around $24. And it looks like we're pushing on to 25 right now with Palantir. There we go. I keep losing my cursor, but I'm not sure why. All right, let's go down to the intraday. Oh, we got Fisker bouncing. Maybe we'll put me in the green today on it. All right, so you can see that double top resist that we have for Palantir from yesterday. And then today, it's sort of still trading sideways from after it sold off, and then it looks like it hit some sort of support around 2470, 2469. And you can see that line that I have drawn in there for support, and it looks like it just peekabooed under it, maybe shook out some people who maybe set their stops a little bit too close if they had their stops set, and now sort of trading about the same. So right now we're engulfing that red candle that happened before, and it looks like near term breaking that 25 is just going to be a round number resist for us. The next big thing will be breaking that 26. So I wouldn't be surprised if we tag that. Again, as long as the macros allow for it, I wouldn't be surprised if we continue to, after resting a little bit, start to trade upward towards that 26. And we'll probably bounce off of it, bounce down, like hit it as a ceiling and then use it as resist before finally breaking it. So that's just what I think is going to happen soon. All right, Taka, you talked me into looking at FSR real quick before I close it out. All right. I've already made $1.20. So that almost pays for my ice cream cone. 30 more cents and I can get a baby size ice cream cone. I'm going to take an obnoxious victory sip. Oh my gosh, I'm a stock genius. Oh, that was wonderful. So thanks everyone for attending. I'm going to be back on Monday at 9:15. I always aim to end at 10. You guys got a bonus 29 minutes. Just a little bit of good luck on this Friday the 13th. I hope that you have a great day, and we'll see you on Monday.